Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, August 4th, 2015. I'm FRASER with the details. SVG today told Parliament that this country recorded an overall balance of $24.1 million in deficit for 2015 when compared to $10.8 million in 2014. Prime Minister Gonsalves explains that recurrent expenditure stands at $247.5 million compared to $242.47 last year, which he says is an increase of 2.1%.
An increase of 4.8%, of which recurrent expenditure is $247.5 million compared to $242.47 million for last year, an increase of 2.1%. The capital expenditure, $32.976 million compared to $25 million last year, an increase of over 40%. The current balance, minus $5.1 million, the deficit compared to $9.94 million last year. And the overall balance, $24.1 million deficit compared to $10.8 million deficit last year.
Dr. Gonsalves adds that there has also been an increase of 9% in profits on taxes and income when compared to last year. The Prime Minister also spoke to increases recorded here in international trade, crown land sales, and licenses and fees.
Mr. Speaker, if I just indicate taxes and incomes on profits went up by 9% this year compared to last year. Taxes on international trade went up by 8.2%. Taxes on domestic transactions went up by 2.8%. Licenses and fees went down. Capital revenue went up by over 200%. The main item there being sale of crown lands. Those are the lands, the payment which we received, the first part of the payment we received for selling the lands in Canawan.
In addition, in addressing the issue of the $25 million in emolument for teachers here, the Prime Minister, who is also Minister of Finance, says although his government was not able to make the payment, they're still in discussion with the SVG Teachers Union and the matter is continually under review.
At the current time, we are not in a position to pay the 1 month salary which they asked, which would amount to $25 million, public servants, teachers, etc. The negotiations concerning allowances with the Police Welfare Association is on a different track, and that we will keep the matter under review. I've seen a report where it said that the teachers said that they have suspended discussions. There was no question of a suspending of the discussion. We just agreed that we would meet again unless there was some change in the circumstances. So if there's a representation that there was a suspension, the meeting was held in a cordial spirit. And as I say, the matter continues to be under review.
One retired chief agricultural officer here is contending that there is a lack of growth in the local fisheries sector, which he has attributed to the placing of square pegs in round holes. Philmore, while speaking on Sunday's Hits Talk program, says the lack of growth in the fishing industry is as a result of workers being placed to perform tasks that they were not trained to do. Isaacs adds that he believes the industry would be better off if managed by the private sector, which he says has an estimated cost of $10 million. Isaacs argues that the government has failed to provide proper and the necessary training for fisheries workers, and hence they are unable to properly manage the sector.
The value of that fishing business in St. Vincent and Grenadines is just $10 million, EC dollars. We manage more than that in the private sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I'm positive there are persons in St. Vincent and Grenadines who could manage those complexes. I don't think government is equipped to manage business. The people who are trained at fisheries are technical people who could advise and provide information on fish stock and could tell the fishermen about their seine size in order to preserve or to conserve fish. They could do all of that, and they do it very well, I must confess. They do it well, or they have done it very well. But their training wasn't to run business, and I think that is a mistake we have made over the years, putting people to do what they were not trained to do.
In addition, fisheries consultant Louis Providence says that he believes the present strategy implemented at the fisheries sector is incomplete and chaotic. He further noted that even the boats used for fishing does not meet international standards for export, since fish must be refrigerated immediately upon catch. Providence adds that such practices hinder the growth of the sector, and if not corrected, the state of the fisheries sector will remain in what he terms as critical condition. The young people of SVG are being encouraged to take advantage of the Fisheries Summer Program, as there are many benefits to be had for both personal and country development. Chief Fisheries Officer in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Jennifer Cruickshank Howard, says major improvement in the Fisheries Division can be had through education and awareness among the young people of SVG. Cruickshank Howard was at the time speaking at the opening of the 2015 Fisheries Youth Summer Program, which is being held under the theme Equipping the Minds of the Young Through Fisheries Education.
The Fisheries Division has been collaborating with the Ministries of Education, Health and the Environment, Tourism and other institutions to promote the overall governance of this important industry. This year, the participants will get an opportunity to visit several sites and will be introduced to some new topics in keeping with the introduction of new projects such as the South Coast Marine Management Area and the development of some issues such as climate change and other related matters which are affecting us today. Equipping the minds of our young through fisheries education and programs of this nature are the requirements that are necessary to assist us at the Fisheries Division, and moreover, the Ministry of Agriculture, Rural Transformation, Forestry, Fisheries and Industry to build this industry.
The Roads, Buildings and General Services Authority, BRAGSA, has commenced a 3-week rapid road repair program throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The refurbishment works began last week and will continue over the next 2 weeks in the Otley Hall, New Montrose, Fair Hall, Hartley Village, Greggs and Dixon areas. BRAGSA's Communications Officer Roxtanne Marshall Millington says the institution acquired 2 asphalt zipper machines that will assist in ensuring that the road repair works are expedited speedily.
We have other areas earmarked during this program, and we will continue to update the public from time to time. We have just purchased 2 new asphalt zippers. What they do is basically scarify the asphalt and mix it in with the top layer of base. If it's suitable material, we will then recompact it to form a base course. It is then primed and asphalt. If it's unsuitable, the scarified material is then removed and fresh base material will be added when needed. This is very effective in that if we are unable to resurface immediately with asphalt, the scarified material, if suitable, can be compacted and primed and sealed to give a drivable surface.
Marshall Millington says 10 schools with plumbing, structural and electrical issues will also receive repairs. She adds that a school's vandalism program will soon be launched, as there is a concern with defacement of educational facilities.
We're also getting ready to commence the school summer repair program. This is a program that is done in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, and this year we will be focusing on 10 critical schools. Our focus will be on structural, electrical and plumbing. We also have later down the launch of the school vandalism program, which you will hear about later on, and we're all excited because this is a growing concern that we have, where students and even persons from outside the community continues to vandalize our schools. So this program will help to educate not just the students but also the general public.
Ecuadorians arrive here to learn and perfect the English language. More on this and other stories when we continue on the local scene. In more local news, the first cohort of Ecuadorian diplomats arrived in this country to learn and perfect the English language, which, according to Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gonsalves, can result in heightened benefits for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The diplomats arrive as part of a memorandum of understanding negotiated and signed by the governments of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Ecuador. Both countries are also working on collaborations in a number of areas, including economic, culture, education, trade, and infrastructure. However, Prime Minister Gonsalves says it is his hope that Vincentians would be able to significantly impact the government and people of Ecuador in a very positive way, which will result in more opportunities for closer cooperation between both countries.
With 25 students coming in batches of 25 diplomats, coming in batches of 5. This is the first batch. They'll be here with us until December, and then in January another batch would come, and we will have our students, our diplomats and other public servants from St. Vincent and the Grenadines go to Ecuador. Now just think of it. A small country like St. Vincent and the Grenadines having in Ecuador essentially 25 ambassadors for St. Vincent and the Grenadines in Ecuador. Could you imagine the influence that they're going to have in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Ecuador and in the Ecuadorian society itself? I mean, 25 that they had come to this magnificent component of our Caribbean civilization, learned English, made friends.
The little that is known about the medical burden of kidney disease is said to be a barrier to effective health planning and implementation of some health policies here. Consultant nephrologist Dr. Tawana Browne Caesar, while speaking at the start of the screening program for chronic kidney disease, diabetes and hypertension, organized by the Caribbean Health and Education Foundation in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, says it is her hope that the activity allows healthcare providers here to have a more in-depth look at the population at risk and how best to treat, manage, and care for these patients. Additionally, the nephrologist stresses the importance of screening for Vincentians ages 18 and older.
With the introduction of nephrology services in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it is imperative that we closely look at our population at risk. Over the next 4 days, you will witness 1. The rapid screening of hundreds of persons over 18 years old with common risk factors for kidney disease. 2. Increasing the awareness and education of persons with early stages of kidney disease, enabling them to better manage their kidney issues. 3. Continued training for our local physicians in early detection of kidney disease. 4. The assessment of the level of control of high blood pressure as well as diabetes in our population. 5. Evaluation of obesity and what proportions of our populations may be at risk. This could be potentially the next opportunity for healthcare intervention.
The National Society for Persons with Disabilities today presented 6 disabled children here with scholarships. The donation forms part of the organization's mandate to provide quality education to all children within St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In her remarks during the handing over ceremony, President of the Society, Patricia Cumberbatch, says that the funding for the scholarships comes as part of the Melanie Mackenzie Educational Scholarship Program.
Because we say each person, disability is not inability. And we look at the capability of our students and how we could help to motivate them, whatever institution we could help, or school we could help them to. We as an organization, that's what we are here for, to help them. So this is what we are doing this morning, and we really are grateful for the support of the general public, different sponsors who will give us these funds, and the different donors on the road while we go on the road to collect these funds.
And retired police officer Jonathan Nichols says the less fortunate and disabled persons here also have a contribution to make to the development of SVG, and therefore encourages Vincentians to support the Society for Disabled Persons by any means necessary.
And it's moments like these that make me feel worthwhile when you see persons with disabilities achieving on a global scene. That makes our work worthwhile. So these students, they too can excel in another area in their academics, and this fund is going to help them to do that. So I'm going to take this opportunity to, well, first of all, thank those who would donate and contribute when we make our appeal, when we do our rallies and so on, and to encourage other persons, the corporate sectors, the business sector, individuals. You don't have to be a business person. Every little bit counts. Get in touch with the society here, Mrs. Cumberbatch, as Roy, and me if you want to get in touch with me and make a contribution. It will be worth your while, and I can tell you, you will get that personal satisfaction, that peace of mind, knowing that you're doing what the Lord instructs us to do.
The 5th edition of the Luke Kids Club Summer Program will get on its way next week. Organizer of the program, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Sports and Culture, Luke Browne, told SVG-TV News that the program is scheduled to commence on Monday, August 10th and will conclude on Saturday, August 22nd. However, he explains that the registration for the 2015 summer program will begin on Wednesday, August 5th and run through Saturday of this week.
And this is registration for children who are interested in participating in the program, and also registration for volunteers who would be interested in helping out with the summer program this year. And we're also going to have some training sessions for the volunteers once registration is complete, and details of that process will be made available. Let me just say as well that this is actually the 5th edition of the Luke's Kids Club Summer Program. We had a program started in 2011, so 2011, 12, 13, 14, and now 2015. This represents a substantial investment in the lives of our children, and an ongoing investment, because we plan to continue this for many years to come. The 5th edition, of course, makes it a special year, and we have decided in this year to see how we could have a special 5th anniversary edition, 5th celebration, and we're going to therefore incorporate some of the themes that we think that the children are, activities that we think the children enjoyed most.
Browne adds that this year will also see the club working in collaboration with the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force to host a boot camp during the summer program.
Now, we had some elements of this in last year's program, and I think that it was thoroughly enjoyed, especially by the older children. So we've made more careful and detailed plans in relation to that. That's something to enjoy. But of course, all the standard activities that you have come to expect from this summer program, you'll be able to experience again this year with new elements, of course. So we're inviting all interested persons to register at the clubhouse in Kingan, where we normally hold the summer program, from this Wednesday the 5th until Saturday, and we look forward to having a great experience.
The Luke Kids Club Summer Program caters for 2 categories of children, one for juniors ages 4 to 11 and seniors ages 12 to 16 plus. Police Constable Rohan Walker has been highly commended for his vigilance, which led to the apprehension of Dylan Michael, a resident of Chateaubelair, who had in his possession 41 $100 counterfeit notes, which he knew to be false. Reports are that on July 31st, 2015, Michael went into a pharmacy at Grenville Street in Kingstown to purchase some items, and it was whilst doing the transaction that Constable Walker overheard a member of staff discussing with another staff member a $100 note note appearing not to be genuine. Walker then approached the staff member to inspect the $100 note and confirmed that it was a counterfeit bill. Walker further went on to carry out a search on Michael, which led to the discovery of 40 additional $100 counterfeit notes. This resulted in the arrest of Michael. Michael was brought before the Kingstown Magistrates Court earlier today and pleaded guilty to the charge with legal representation from Carlos James. He was fined $3,000 to be paid in 3 months, in default of which a 6-month jail term will be imposed. In more court news, Glenroy Prescott, a laborer from the Lower Kettles area, has been arrested and charged for the offense of unlawful and malicious wounding on March 21st this year. He is accused of using a cutlass and inflicting a wound to the head of Woodley Robinson, and proceeded to strike him several times about his body at a liquor and provision shop during a fracas. Prescott was this morning escorted at the Kingstown Magistrates Court before Senior Magistrate Carla James and pleaded guilty to the charge. The court prosecutor had no objection to his bail, which was allowed in the sum of $4,000 with one surety. He was also ordered to not have any contact with Robinson. September 1st is the date set for the trial. Meanwhile, a 3-year prison term was on Monday, August 3rd, 2015, handed down to Kevin Williams, an 18-year-old resident of Rockies, on 2 separate charges of gun and ammunition possession. Reports are that on July 5th, 2015, police officers from the Criminal Investigation Department, or the CID, were on patrol in the Rose Place area when Williams was seen walking next to a supermarket, acting suspiciously. He was then approached and searched by the police, which led to the discovery of a .38 revolver along with 3 rounds of ammunition lodged in the firearm.